lovely little segue into Pro Day there. And that's probably the main talking point from the weekend is that our
Soyongalam.
boy Soyongalem had a little bit of a nightmare round, losing to at home to Montauban, who have now sort of usurped them into the sixth place, I think. Or they might be a bit higher than that now, but they're certainly in the
No,
barrage
Montebello in
spots.
sixth, one
Um,
point ahead of Soyongalam. But I mean, and it's without Benny Botts. Benny Botts is out for the season after a
yeah,
broken collarbone a couple of weeks back against Nice. And you just watching them play at the moment, it feels like they could do with just a steadying hand on the tiller just a little bit. They were what were they? They were 18-6 up in this, I think, or
mm,
18-5 up in this game and lost 19-18 with I think after with like half an hour to go. They were kind of up by what's that, 13 points, and just completely they just looked like headless chickens. It was very harem scarum defense, like people running and over chasing, and yeah, they are a very young squad. They just need, well, there's a few old heads in there, but they just need a Ben Botica to kind of
yeah.
calm them all down, I think. And they don't have someone of that caliber to come in. There are very few players of that caliber to come in the league, but yeah, that's
At this
I
point in
think
the season as well.
yeah, it's I mean, we are now kind of with three games to go, and it is fascinating their derby game. So it's derby round in Pro de Deux as well. So they go to Argennes, and they've actually got a very good away record. Argennes have kind of not got a lot to play for now. I say that they're only 5 points above Aurillac, so they do have something to play for. Saxby have got some interesting fixtures. They've got Argennes away, Oyonnax at home, Valence Romans away. So on paper, they're like
All
three very
winnable.
weak teams, all very winnable, but also all very losable. Um,
Such as Pro Day there.
well, yeah. Whereas Montauban's the interesting one because they have basically their two other. So they've had 3 weeks in a row, the three teams around them. So they've now got Colomiers, and then they've got Beziers the following week, and then they go to the Lac in the final game. But yeah, the fact that they've kind of had it all in their own. I was kind of thinking, well, it doesn't matter because they're kind of having a bit of dip in form, but that is a very, very good win to kind of
Mm,
snatch that relatively late on against Saxby and put it back into their own hands because they've now got that 1 point advantage over Saxby. That means it is in their hands because they've got some tough fixtures, but two of them are at home. One is actually a home game at Ernest Vallon, but to have Bezier at home as well is pretty good. And who knows what might be happening with Aurillac come last game of the season.
yeah, the game that Ernest Vallon I saw earlier, they've Montauban themselves have sold 10,000 tickets. So
I assume that was the whole thing.
I'm pretty sure it
You
was just
reckon
them. It
you
was the
reckon
green
Colomier
and
of
it was the green and whites. They were saying or 10,000 green and whites, unless they're just making a rogue assumption that everyone who's bought a ticket for the game is a Montauban fan. Some sort of Colomier boycott going on. Um, but yeah, we'll see about that. Did you manage to, obviously, rare treat being in France? Did you actually manage to catch any of this live in the flesh? Well, not in the
I
flesh, but
caught I
in a
caught about
bar.
I caught about 20 minutes of the early Friday evening kickoff, which was Nevers hosting Biarritz,
Ooh,
which was a bit of a random one to have a bit of a showpiece. And actually, when we left it, Biarritz were up, and then they lost 35-15. But not much to write home about other than it looked like very nice weather in Nevers, and also kind of the lads commented like that's a pretty big stadium for second division rugby. And it
mm,
is like it looks like it was sold out. It looked like really busy. Biarritz wore a black kit that I'm not sure about, like little tinges of green and red, quite kind of 2009 era Canterbury when they kind of
okay.
were like that. Everything had that kind of same trim. Yeah, the bits I saw, Biarritz looked quite powerful and looked pretty good, but that obviously kind of didn't come to pass in the end as Nevers rolled them over. But I
Yeah.
didn't manage to watch any of Brive versus Aix-en-Provence. I was too busy going to Nabucodonosor
Oh,
for some pub
amazing.
wine.
Amazing. Brive, who I think from what I could see, kind of overpowered Provence a bit. I was following the Provence kind of live stream on Twitter, or like the live text feed is quite good, like a little bit more descriptive than others.
Yeah.
And it seemed quite nip and tuck, and I watched a few highlights, but it looked like they were slightly overpowered in the end. Provence, who Thomas Francis was back playing, who'd
Yeah, first
missed
time in ages.
something like, I think it's his first since the fifth round, which I kind of, I don't know, like snuck under certainly my radar. And it's a big hole for Provence in the middle of your season, your kind of star tight head.
Yeah,
So yeah, I mean, good to see that he's back at the right point of the season, but they've now opened up a 7 point gap over, well, an 8 point gap over
8 point gap.
Provence and a 7 point gap over third place, which is now Colomiers, who absolutely dusted Argennes in the Thursday night game, and yeah, appeared to be going very nicely.
Yeah, they
Um,
they are kind of all of the cliches that you might say about a team that's consistently putting lots of points on the board. They are playing with confidence. They, lots of interplay. There's very quick passing, great lines of running, very great speed of ball, all that stuff. But what I found interesting about this one was the selection. So they've got two Portuguese wingers, and neither of them played on the wing. So they've got I've got to get it the right way round now. Vincent Pinto played 15 and Rodrigo Marta played 13. Vincent Pinto was absolutely brilliant. Um, but that also allows them to get Tuatavaki, who has been a bit of a stalwart on the wing, as a kind of big, robust winger that's kind of always on hand to finish off tries. He must be doing pretty well on the try scoring rankings because I feel like he's scored loads recently. And then Martin Alonso is kind of more of a nippy winger on the right wing, but it gives them so much pace when you've basically got four wingers in your back line who are four of your kind of international. I think Martin Alonso is a Spanish international, so they've got some real good quality there as well. And then Ray Nutu, I think he's Kiwi. Going to say the centre, he's been a bit of a stalwart for them as well. Gives them a bit of grunt, bit of go forward. Him and Caleb Timu, who are the kind of go forward guys for Colomiers, from what I can tell this season. I think both of us would kind of acknowledge that neither of us know loads about Colomiers, given that now in third.
yeah.
We've not done our due diligence. I would have done some great due diligence had this game been arranged on a bloody Friday night.
Yeah, that's
Um,
it was particularly bad luck that you've landed poorly.
yeah,
Fortunately, your luck, we'll get onto it in a bit, but your fixture luck appears to have taken a bit of a turn, right, for this
yeah.
coming weekend. But yes, very impressive stuff from Colomiers. Grenoble beat Stade Niçois 47-17, which is to be expected. Oyonnax got a pretty convincing win, 43-17, and an important win because it just nudges them a couple of points. I think 3 points ahead of the likes of Argennes and opens up a
They're
little bit
eight
of.
clear of 15th now.
So
That's a huge gap. In
you would
with
think
three
they're all right.
games, you'd hope that they wouldn't. I mean, they do go. They've still got such a grim run in. It is Grenoble away, Saxeville away, Provence at home, which is still
Yeah,
they're three very losable games, and
100%.
that could be 0 points as well. So they're not out the woods, but we'll see. We'll see
Massive.
because
And
I
to
think
get the
I think
bonus
I
point as well is big, I think, in this one.
yeah, because that does give them that kind of full 8 points. And I think it's while they might not pick up any more points, I think the teams below them might not be capable of getting. Well, Aurillac might not be capable of getting the eight
Yeah.
points that they need.
Yes, you may well be right. Pretty a bit of a statement's the right word, but a big performance from Zach Holmes as well, who got scored a try, load of penalties, those conversions. I think it was 23 points in this game, having been, was it last week or the week before
He
he
got
got
hooked last
hooked
week. Got
after
hooked in
20
28
minutes?
minutes.
And I did see that the Oyonnax social media folk put out a very effusive message, almost, I don't know, it felt a little bit like, back Zach kind of thing after his
Backsack don't
performance.
crack. Yeah.
Back Zach, don't crack. Still
Borrowed
one
from one of
for
our friends' podcasts
app
about a
dealt with cricket.
entirely different subject of Zach Crawley.
But
Um,
yeah, really good from him. Also, a word I know we've spoken about him before, but the figures here are quite extraordinary. So his opposite number at 10, Valence, Lucas Mere, who's had quite the season and is now
he's
he
absolutely
scored
miles
he
ahead.
scored 293 points. Neck and the behind him, Duplessis down at Mont de Marsan is 102 points behind him.
Well, there's two
It,
people above him. There's two. So he Duplessis is now in fourth. Bosviel is second on 194, and Davies is third on 192. So basically the rest of the pack, and then Sean Reynolds at Nevers is 187. So they're all within 7 points of each other,
It's pretty
and
remarkable.
Meret is 99 clear of the highest scoring one of those, which is yeah, it is. And he's
Yeah.
not scored a try.
Yeah, extraordinary.
Even Bosville scored a
I'm
try this
looking
week.
at, sorry, the reason I've got that order wrong is I'm looking at the goal kicking tally.
Okay,
Whereas,
yeah,
as you say, Bosvia, what's he got in there? He's got one try,
yeah,
189 kicked points. Davis, two.
yeah.
Yeah, and so on and so forth.
Davis, who showed a bit of attacking flair, kind of going from deep. Um,
Yes, yeah, lovely little turn of pace, fleet foot. Have we done Predator? What else have we? Dax beat Aurillac, beat the Lac, who are still getting just
I
kind of
think we
hanging
need
in
to.
there.
I think we need to stop backing them. They've not done well since we started backing the lack. So if we kind of, if we do crack and don't back the lack,
Sack the Lac,
sack the lack, maybe the
but
turnaround will come.
I can't do that
That
to our.
everyone wants to see. I don't think anyone wants to see Aurillac go down,
No, no, absolutely
apart
not.
from maybe Mont-de-Marsan fans and Argent fans and Biarritz fans.
Very possibly. Moves us nicely then to Derby
Here it is.
weekend, and this I think is very much kind of proper Derby stuff.
Well,
Um,
there's one, which is the first one I'm going to, which is they've shuffled that out onto the Thursday evening, which is the Bezier versus Biarritz, which is a Pyreneean derby of sorts, I guess, but or Battle of the Bees, Battle of the Battle of the teams that have plummeted. But it's a pretty key game for both teams. Biarritz are 7 clear of Aurillac, and they also don't have a great run in because they have Bezier at home, Provence away, Colomiers at home. So yeah, they play 3 of the top 6 in their last 3 games. Obviously, they have been quite good themselves at point this season, but they've also been quite bad at points this season. And they could do with picking up a win in one of those. It could well be the Bezier one. Bezier haven't travelled all that well this season. I mean, they're 6th best away team in the world in the league, but yeah, it feels like Bezier or Provence could be the one that they kind of pick up a win with. So it should be a good game. They both need to win because Bezier are only 1 point. They're level with Montauban on 72, and they're only 1 point ahead of Soy and Golem. So they themselves need that to lock in that barrage place. And they have Montauban away, followed by Brive at home. So they've got 2 tough ones to finish on
yeah,
as well. So they've both got tough fixtures. They both need a win. It should actually be pretty good. And I imagine it's going to be pretty, I think it should be sold out. Tickets were running low-ish when I booked them a couple of weeks ago. So that
amazing.
should be fun.
That'd be quite something because last time we went, it was sparse.
Yeah. And it was like 3 degrees, if that.
That is very true. Elsewhere, Nice host Provence, which, well, Nice have been all right at home recently, so you never know. Aurillac host Brive. That is like a real derby and one that we were at the reverse leg earlier in the season. Would love to see Aurillac sneak through that one somehow. Keep our fingers crossed.
It looked a bit
Montauban
men versus
Colomiers.
boys, though, didn't it, when we were there in their first game this in that
It did,
the reverse
but
fixture?
desperate men versus rich boys. You never know. It could
Yeah.
work in their favour. Montauban hosts Colomiers, technically at the Stade Ernest Vallon. Well, it is at the Stade Ernest Vallon, but technically they host them. Grenoble Oyonnax. I think a win for Grenoble confirms, if it hasn't done so already, pretty much their home or a home semi-final.
Yeah.
Probably expect them to get the job done. Valence Nevers, Saxeville Argent, which you mentioned, that feels winnable, doesn't it? And also could kind of nudge Argent a little bit back, looking over their shoulder, which they are already. And then the big derby, though, you're going to be at as well, down in Lond.
The Lawn Derby,
Mont-de-Marsan
which is
Dax.
the one that I'd say both of us in Pro Day would really want to go to because it's supposedly pretty spicy. I saw it actually in the newspaper Sud-West in a place called Bruges yesterday, which was basically a medieval town that hasn't been updated since the 13th century. And there was a little cafe that we went into and it had a little newsstand there. And there was a little advert in one of the pages for the Lond Derby, Derby Londaise. Mont de Marsan versus Dax in a nice yellow and black poster. I'm pretty sure Russell Westbrook is going to be there as well, supporting Mont de Marsan. He's him. I'm pretty sure Teo Atasogbe's got him VIP tickets. So, and
Excellent.
actually, we're going to drive back after the game. We're picking up Teo Atasogbe,
Giving
and
him a
he's going to
lift.
stay. He's going to stay with us, and then get the train with us down, or the bus, and then the train down with us on Saturday morning.
Excellent. Well, I look forward to the report from that one. I think Mont de
And
Marsan is a
and let's be honest, Richard, you're looking forward to the photos from the stash shot because
yeah. The
who
yellow
knows?
and black kit is just so good. Just that kind of toxic waste approach. I'm all for it. Yeah, keep us posted. Also, the I forget his name, but her name, the Mont de Marsan mascot. I've done a bit of research on. Is one of the looser ones going around. I've seen various
Okay,
footage of him abseiling, riding a motorbike on the pitch.
what is he?
Um, is he a horse or like a cow or something?
Maybe
Um, oh God, I should have
sounds about
researched.
right for the lawned area.
Yeah, yeah, maybe a bull or something like that. Because they bullfight, don't they? In Dax, there's a big bull
Yeah, they
ring,
do. Yeah.
which is yeah maybe not one for the list. But there we go. Very jealous of your trip.